Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this bicycle product review with me, Reginald Scott. I want to talk about what I think is the best bike lock you can buy, or at least the best bike lock I've ever had. If you disagree, then pop it in the comments below and let us all know. The bike lock in question is this one. It is the German-made ABUS Bordo 6000. I've had this lock for about 6 or 7 years, and quite frankly, it's been fantastic, and I really can't say anything negative about it at all. ABUS is a German manufacturer, so you know it's going to be good quality, and they've also been making locks and locking devices since the 1920s, so they've got a lot of experience with making secure products. The reason why I think this is better than some other products, say for example like kryptonite locks, which are in the news for being famous for being opened easily with a pen, picture to be shown, is that a lot of those locks rely on the ideas of either big D locks, which are cumbersome and full of air in the center, and you just have to somehow store this big D shape somewhere on your person or in your bag, and sometimes that's not very convenient, I don't think. I tried putting one over my handlebars once, and it slipped down and it jammed my handlebars straight, so I couldn't turn, and I ended up crashing. That was quite hilarious. It was somebody else's D-lock. I don't own a D-lock, and I wasn't entirely sure how to carry the thing, so I just slung it over my handlebars. Big mistake. Not a serious crash, but quite hilarious. Anyway, so that's a problem I have with D-locks. The problem I have with the chain and padlock style of locks is twofold. One is, again, you have to put it somewhere. I mean, there's no significantly useful box or holder that you can put a chain in. You have to just stick it in your bag or your pannier or sling it over your shoulder, which is not really very convenient. And the other thing is that the links in the chains themselves are the weak point. You can easily get a cutter or some kind of bolt cutter around those individual links and just prise them apart. Even the strongest ones won't take much effort to break. They are a severe weakness. The locks themselves are probably very strong, but the chains themselves aren't very good. But this is a bit different, and I'll show you why. So it comes in this rubberized container that fits nicely onto your bike, and it keeps it safe and out of the way, and it's convenient and really easy to get hold of once you arrive at your destination, so you don't have to go digging around in the bottom of your rucksack or your pannier to try and find your lock, which is very frustrating. It can be attached to your bike via Velcro straps, which can be passed through these holes here, or via these screw holes where you can affix it to where your bottle cage would be. If you have two bottle cages, that's great, because then you can have one for water, as I do, and one for your bike lock, which is how I have my setup. So you arrive at your destination and you simply pop off the strap off the top here and pull this lock out. Now it's very tight in here, which means it's not going to fall out even with the strap off, which I think is a good, obviously a tight fitting product, and that's something you want. Inside you get this thing. I don't know whether you've ever seen one of these before, but I was very impressed when I first saw it, and I've had people walk by me and even comment on my lock as I'm chaining my bike up, and on how impressive and sophisticated this lock looks. Basically, what makes it unique is it's this bar design held together by incredibly strong rivets. These rivets are also kind of free floating, so that if you try and cut them, they keep moving position, which prevent you from slicing through easily. The bar itself is like a toughened steel, and it's covered in a plastic coating which prevents you from scratching your bike, which I think is really good. Also about these is if you try to put any bolt cutters or side cutters over them to try and cut them, you're having to cut through along that much surface area, which is very, very difficult. I mean, if you imagine how thick a link on a chain is, it's nowhere near as thick as that. It certainly would make it much more difficult to get any kind of pincer style cutters to cut through this bar. You're looking really at an angle grinder or a hacksaw in several minutes to chop through anything quite as tough as that. Which is another thing I like about the product. And I suppose you could get a big hammer and try and smash the rivets off, but in doing that you run the risk of damaging the bike you're trying to steal, which is kind of pointless really. It comes with this keyhole in the top, which I prefer the key style to the combination lock style that you can buy with this lock, simply because combination locks are easily crackable. Not just ABUS locks, but all combination locks aren't particularly safe. And in the past, I've managed to crack combination locks on various different things that my friends and family have locked themselves out of with not too much trouble. So I would always go with a key style lock. It takes a little bit more intelligence to be able to pick a lock like this, and ABUS are obviously experts in making pretty good and complicated tumblers and pin systems with all the anti-picking that goes into their designs. The key for it looks like this. These are all my other keys for all my other locks, and as I say, fits into this hole at the top. What's nice about this is that it won't let you take the key out unless the device is locked. So it means you won't forget to lock your bike, and it also means you won't leave your keys in your lock. So in order to open it, just simply turn it, and then you can split the lock apart from the locking mechanism here at the top. You can see that, and you can also see, there we go, that's the pin that fits in the hole. That gives you a load of flexibility and a load of length to put this around your bike or around any kind of post or pillar or anything that you might be attaching your bike to. I find that this happily goes around my back wheel, my frame, through my pedals, or one of my pedals, and around a lamppost with room to spare, basically. You might want to use it for the front of your bike, but I tend to use it for the back, and I have a padlock and chain for the front as well, which is always advisable. You won't have two locks on your bike at all times. So simply locks at the top. I tend to attach it to things facing down like this with the keyhole at the bottom. That way it also hides the keyhole from any potential thief, so they can't see how exactly it opens without having to lift it up and have a look underneath. And also, if it rains, then that water is going to hit the top and run off the sides and not actually go inside the locking mechanism. I mean, I spray WD-40 in there anyway, but still, you don't want water inside the mechanism if you can help it. So that's just a nice byproduct of the design of the lock, that it stops water from going inside the lock. As I say, I've never had any problems with this thing. I believe someone has tried to cut this lock. There are marks on the lock just here which suggest that someone's had a little go at it, but obviously they didn't bring a big enough tool. Actually, it's there. Don't know whether you can see this. Just there's a slight cut and you can see the metal coming through. I don't think they brought a big enough tool to do it, and obviously they failed miserably. 9 times out of 10, when I turn up somewhere and I put this lock on my bike, I have the best, most secure bike going. So that's my quick review of the ABUS lock. If you want to buy one of these locks at the moment, they are £51.95 for this style, and for the larger one, which is a gold standard security and much bigger, will probably be suitable for a motorbike, is about £89.99 online. You shop around, you might find it for cheaper. The lock itself, just to let you know, weighs 1,147 grams, so it's not particularly heavy for a heavy duty lock, and again, I think it's compact and very strong, so it will deter most criminals. So thank you for watching my review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was useful to you when selecting your next lock. I would certainly recommend one of these. It's never seen me wrong. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.